Hello and welcome to Everyday Tarot, your daily dive into the divine wisdom of the tarot. I'm your host, Camille A. Saunders, healer, tarot enthusiast, and your local witch next door, and today I'm talking about tarot and mint. Whether you're a seasoned tarot reader or just starting to explore, this podcast offers daily insights, intuitive messages, and practical advice drawn from the cards. Each episode is designed to help you connect with your inner wisdom, find clarity in your decisions, and tap into the energy of the universe. Tune in every day, Monday through Friday, for fresh perspectives and empowering guidance from the tarot as interpreted by me. If you love the show, the best way to support it for free is by listening daily, leaving a review, and subscribing or following in your favorite podcast app. I recently had an online event, a tarot card crafting workshop. If you were interested in that, but you didn't get to attend live or didn't register in time, you can go ahead and get the whole workshop, which includes the full hour-long recording with my step-by-step method, examples of tarot cards I've created, journaling questions, and a PDF to walk you through it just for $33. You can click here in the show notes to purchase now. I'm also going to be offering a 12-week Tarot for Transformation live course this summer. If you're interested, I have a sign up in the show notes for more information. We'll be most likely starting at the end of August, so no worries, you're not behind or late. I'm just starting to talk about it so I can see how many people are going to attend and what kind of the course is going to look like. I also just updated my Patreon benefits to be bigger and better than ever. So if you want an individual card pulled for you once a month live on the podcast, you can join the Everyday Tarot Patreon family at the lovers level. If you'd like to support the podcast even further, you can get a one-time individual 5-card reading in addition to all the other benefits if you join the Witch Bitch level on the Patreon. If you're local to the greater Puget Sound area where I am, you can join me at our next Let's Talk Tarot meetup group event. We'll be doing a social hangout at actually the old hangout in Tacoma, which is downstairs in the Tacoma McMinimans, the Elks Lodge, from 1 to 3 p.m. on July 27th. So bring your tarot cards, your questions, your obsession with tarot, and come meet other witches and tarot folks in your community. If you're interested in my free PDF with the 2025 5-card tarot spread I created just for you at the beginning of this year, you can get that by joining my newsletter list. My weekly newsletter always has the most up-to-date information on upcoming events, presentations, musings, and more. And if you don't already know, I'm a sex and relationships therapist seeing clients virtually all over Washington State. I love working with queer, poly, and witchy clients. So if you'd like to work with a therapist that doesn't judge you, is witchy just like you, and helps you learn how to deal with anxiety, chronic pain and illness, communication issues, self-advocacy, and sex, head to my website and book a free consultation now to start your journey. You can find the links for any of these offers in the show notes or on my website, CamilleASaunders.com/everydaytarot, in addition to the images of the cards I pull on each episode. All right, so welcome to season 11, where I'm talking all about tarot and plant allies. If you haven't listened to my other seasons yet, you can check those out. I've talked tarot basics. I've gone through every single tarot card. I've talked tarot and pop culture, 13 common tarot spreads, and tarot and witchcraft. So in this season here, in season 11, we are talking all about tarot and plant allies, and today I'm talking about tarot and mint. So for an overview of the episode, I'm going to go through the plant description, plant magic, relation to tarot, and uses for the plant. So yeah, mint is interesting because there's all different kinds of mint. There's peppermint, there's spearmint, there's chocolate mint, there's different kind of like flavors of mint. Today I'm going to be mostly talking about I guess we're going to span between peppermint and spearmint, which are the common two. And peppermint is actually a cross between water mint and spearmint. And so reading from the medicinal herb coloring book, Amani Omerge and Nicole Rose, peppermint here. So this is Mentha piperta, which is like, again, the peppermint one. So again, if you get essential oils or anything, peppermint might be different than mint itself. There's over 600 varieties of mint, so it's kind of hard to talk about. But again, like I said, the most common are spearmint and peppermint. All right, so for peppermint, it is a perennial herb found growing in gardens, waste ground, and near water. Peppermint has a long history of culinary and medicinal use. Its pain-relieving and antispasmodic action can help with stomach aches, colic, flatulence, constipation, and diarrhea. It can also help relieve nausea and travel sickness. Peppermint's volatile oils and their antimicrobial and antiviral actions enhance digestion, absorption, and immunity. Peppermint also helps relieve tension, headache, menstrual, and muscle pain. When taken as a hot infusion, which just means like almost like how you would make tea, so peppermint in hot water, it acts as a decongestant and can help the body resist infections such as colds and flu. Peppermint can also be used as a gargle and mouthwash, and peppermint should be avoided in pregnancy, and caution should be taken with the essential oil. All right, so that is sort of, the aspects or essence of peppermint. Spearmint is actually sweeter than peppermint. I would say it's often, it can be, because it's a little sweeter, I think that's the one that's often used in like drinks and things like that, like mojitos, mint juleps, or iced tea. There's also Moroccan mint tea, which is a mix between spearmint and green tea. And if you want to try to tell the difference between peppermint and spearmint, which I was trying to do to figure out which one I have outside, I think I have spearmint actually. So you can look up pictures if you want, but generally spearmint leaves are bigger and lighter green, almost that like neon green. Peppermint is a darker leaf, but also has a darker stem. And all mint stems are like square. So that is a way to identify mint if you're find it out in the wild and you're unsure. There are very few plants that have that. So instead of being like a circular stem, it is like a square. So it has four sides. So yeah, what else? So yeah, peppermint has darker leaves, stronger taste. Leaves are darker and thinner and sort of like burgundy purple at the veins, at the stem, and at the edge of the leaf. Spearmint is sweeter. It has a more subtle taste. They say it has more hair, so like it's a little more furry if you touch it instead of like a flatter leaf. It's lighter green and a bigger leaf, and there's more ridges at the edge of the leaf. So that was the way that I was able to tell, and you'll see in the photo. But yeah, I believe I have spearmint, which is great because I like to use it in drinks, etc. And so that is what I like to do. Okay, so yeah, that's kind of what it looks like. Like I said, it has like a square stem. Mint as a plant, if you've ever grown it, it is, what's the right word? Aggressive as a plant. Once it starts rooting, it will send out a lot of roots underground or in your pot, and the plants spread easily and can actually become invasive, especially if it's around water and it has enough sunlight, it will take over. So if you put it in a raised bed with other things, eventually you will end up with only mint in your raised bed and nothing else will be able to grow. So I grow all my mint in containers. I recommend you do the same unless you have a lot of land or you really like mint and you want it to take over or you want it to fight maybe another aggressive plant. But again, because it roots so well, it doesn't send out seeds to spread the plant. It does rooting. Again, if you put it in a raised bed or in the ground, like it will just create a carpet of mint, which sounds great and smells good, but is very aggressive and will take over large areas and just kind of keep going forever. All right, let's get into some of the plant magic. So right, the opposite, or like so if aggressive and taking over is the shadow side of mint, the sort of like positive sunny side of mint is like abundance, right? It like it has rapid growth, it spreads underground with rhizomes, it can make it difficult to contain. And again, these are the same things that also give it great abundance. So you can share that abundance and peaceful mint calm with other people. Again, if you have a mint plant, even if you have it in a container, it will like spread again throughout the entire container, and you'll just have it be full of mint. So if you want that, choose a large container so you can have a lot of mint. I have mine in fairly small pots because I have different kinds of mint. And again, like I put a sprig of it in drinks sometimes, or I'll like muddle it a little bit. I'll occasionally use it in cooking, but I don't need that much mint. Yeah, and so that is sort of the blessings of mint. Again, like it requires structure and limits because it is so great in abundance. Yeah, in the Herb Crafter's Tarot by Letitia Guthrie and artist Joanna Polo Colbert, which I am reading from on the partingthemyths.com blog that I've been referencing throughout this season, they talk about that. So they associate mint with the 4 of water, so maybe like kind of the 4 of cups equivalent in this deck. It says, take time to refresh your spirit, prevent plenty from becoming too much, and quench your thirst with gratitude. Life sometimes leads to boredom or discontent. Your lack of interest is keeping you from connection. Create a nourishing space to contemplate your feelings. Mint plants are used as border plants because they can be trained to grow as a lively hedge. However, just as mint can overtake the garden, if it is not contained, your feelings can overwhelm. Replenish your emotional reserves with uplifting practices. Mint tea is an energizing and refreshing medicine. Notice and appreciate the blessings in your life. Do not take them for granted, and build a foundation for emotional stability with a gratitude practice. Sit quietly and bring your awareness to what you have overlooked. Yeah, so you can kind of embody mint as abundance or wealth even, right? It is green, and we associate green things with money a lot of the time. The color green with that. All right, let's get into its relation to the tarot. So I looked up sort of different tarot correspondences with it. I saw some talking about the 10 of Cups. There is on the Sow the Magic art and deck and seed packet, they associate peppermint with the 10 of Cups. And again, the 10 of Cups is that sort of like abundant relationships with those you love. Like 10s are about completion. So right, you're in that, like, I'm fully satisfied. Provide plenty of tender, loving care, and this herb will forever sweeten your journey in life. So again, just sort of embodying that. So I did pull a 10 of Cups cards from the Therapist Who Tarot deck, prompts by Drea Bloom and images by Rebecca Bloom. The word they associate with it is honor, and on the back it says, what message should you pay more attention to? What are your dreams telling you, and what do you know to be true? And I'd say a lot of this goes into that sort of like gratitude practice, and even like abundance, right? What messages are you receiving in abundance? What are your dreams trying to tell you, your subconscious there to maybe bring forth in the world, and what do you know to be true? All right, another association I saw was with the Wheel of Fortune. It says because it's linked to destiny, fortune, and abundance, which can be further explored with the help of mint's properties. Here, yeah, because, and so here again, I pulled it from the Therapist Who Tarot deck, and I pulled the Wheel of Fortune, and it says turning point. So it has reflection questions on the back about what change are you resisting, where is the tension in your life, and what is your definition of success, right? So this one's a little bit more about like the boundaries, I would say, that we talked about with mint. Like it requires structure. right? Like the edge of a pot or the edge of a raised bed or an area to make it stop, because otherwise it will just kind of go on and on. Right? Where is there tension in your life? Like, where are you putting boundaries or maybe not putting boundaries, and going into that like excess, or again, like if we reframe that, abundance, right? Like, where are you getting a lot of things going right now? And what's your definition of success, right? What does abundance look like to you? And right, it's going to look different to different people. And that is lovely. Like, I have a very abundant garden right now that I feel rich with the garden. I have fruit growing in my yard. I can go outside and pick vegetables. I have all these herbs and plants that I work with, and that feels so abundant. I can just get to walk out my back door and grab and touch some of those plants, harvest them if I want, say hi, all those type of things. And there's a lot of variety in my garden, which feels lovely. All right, and then the last card I pulled, which I didn't see correspondences necessarily, but when I saw the card, I was flipping through the Therapist Tarot deck looking for the Wheel of Fortune. I pulled this one because it just gave me mint vibes. So it is the 10 of Spirals, which would generally be the 10 of Pentacles, and it says wealth, and it's this like green tree with green spirals and a green border, and all of that green just makes me think of mint. And again, that's sort of like abundance, like money, association that we sort of have, at least like in the US, with green, because of our green dollar bills. And so this one, it says, how easy or difficult is it for you to protect your energy, right? Again, boundaries, right? How do we not overflow or like have our energy go too much? The next question, who or what drains your energy, right? Thinking about, okay, there are people that give you energy. And the last question, who or what gives you good energy? So this is kind of taking an assessment in your life, right? Okay, do you have your own ways of protecting your energy and like being boundaried? Are there people or situations that you know drains your energy, and that if you go into them, or if you get kind of forced into them, that you're gonna take a long time to recover? And then who or what is giving you energy, right? Like, this podcast gives me energy. Like, I'm always even when it's like, oh, I gotta get a lot done because I'm gonna be busy or out of town, like I have coming up soon, it just, like, it still fuels me. I love to do it. Even if I am like, oh, I should rush it, like, I don't do it because I just love digging into it. So, yeah, we'll stop there for now. I'll put up my boundary and protect my energy by not going on too much longer. All right. And then finally, let's talk about some uses. So maybe unlike a lot of these other plants, I would say most people are very familiar with mint and spearmint even, right? We use it in our toothpaste. Like, it's a very common essential oil. It's in drinks. It's like a flavor or smell that we're very familiar with. So in the Hearth Witch's Compendium, Magical and Natural Living for Every Day by Anna Franklin, they talk about that the magical herbalism of peppermint is all about clarity and cleansing, ruled by the planet Venus, the element of air, and the star signs Virgo and Aquarius, sacred to Hades and Mentha. All right, so yeah, let's get into some uses. So again, there's other uses that you're aware of, like eating it, putting it in food, putting it in drinks, alcoholic drinks or otherwise, muddling it, which just means kind of like taking leaves off the plant and like bruising or like smooshing them so that they release their oils, which is the scent and the taste. But yeah, so on here they talk about you can make a carpet shampoo with peppermint essential oil. So you use 2 pints of water, a half pint of liquid castile soap, and 8 drops of peppermint essential oil. You can rub the foam into soiled areas with a damp sponge and let dry thoroughly, and then vacuum. So that is, a cleaning way to use mint. If you want to use it more in like personal care or skin care, they talk about these bath tea bags, which just means like you could put all of these herbs or things into a bath without using any container. But just be aware that, of course, when you drain the bath, all of that stuff's going to go down the drain if you don't have like a strainer or anything. So if you do have like a tea bag, like loose leaf tea bags, or if you just have like a muslin or cheesecloth or loosely woven fabric, you can, or like a laundry bag, you can put the herbs into it, put it in the bath, almost as if your bathtub is a pot of tea, and you put it in there, and then you get in the bath, and there are herbs that are great for that. So there's an energizing bath bag that has 1 part peppermint leaves, 1 part lemon peel, and 1 part green tea. So again, peppermint is like a energizing like essence or scent. Like it helps us, again, sort of like think more clearly, like it gets, some things are calming, and peppermint can be that sort of, because if you literally think about the word peppermint, it's like pepper, which is like the sort of like spicy, and then the mint, which is the cooling, and so peppermint is sort of both, that you have the like heat of a little bit of like the strong scent and taste that can be, again, kind of overpowering, and then you also have like the minty sort of menthol part of it that is more of like a cooling effect. I know I like if I have neck tension or things like that, or headaches, like I have a lot of like essential oil or salves that have peppermint in it, because it kind of gives that like icy hot effect when you apply it on your skin. So yeah, you do have to be careful. I mean, peppermint leaves, if you're using them, they're fairly, they're not gonna like burn your eyes or anything, but if you are like putting it in a bath, just like be mindful that like putting any essential oils like near your eyes or on your, like I put some like peppermint stuff on my neck, again for sort of that like icy hot effect if I'm having neck pain. It can like irritate your eyes or like make you cry, because it's just strong, and again it's sort of that like spicy, it's like hot and cold feeling, and so just kind of be aware of that. I've made myself sort of cry by putting my roller ball of peppermint oil a little too close to my eyes. Okay, what else? So there are minty lotion bars that you can make. So here's one that has 1 ounce of coconut oil, 1 ounce of coconut butter, 2 ounces of beeswax, 20 drops of peppermint essential oil, and then you can use some green soap coloring. You melt the oil and butter together in a double boiler and add the wax and allow it to melt, all mixed together, and then add the fragrance oil and color. So you can make a nice like soothing lotion bar with that. Another sort of external remedy I saw was creating, oh no, not that one. So it's a steam inhalation. So this would be one where, yeah, I would just maybe keep your eyes closed while you do it, because peppermint might irritate your eyes, but you can do a steam inhalation. So I talked about this one with yarrow, which you can do this for yarrow because it's good for like allergies or hay fever. But if you have more like cold like symptoms like congestion or like soreness, you can use a steam inhalation of herbs to relieve cold symptoms. So you add so you create an herbal infusion or decoction that then you add to it. So basically you would again like sort of get mint leaves, put them in hot water, or like almost like to make a tea, and let that infuse for a bit, take out the leaves, and then you can pour that liquid into to do like a steam inhalation. So yeah, you would pour boiling water over the herb, and then put a towel over your head and like inhale in the vapor for 5 minutes. And like I said, like you probably need like a bowl, put the leaves in it, pour boiling water in, right, and then put that towel over your head. Again, I would suggest closing your eyes. They don't say that in here, but I just find peppermint to be like an eye irritant, so just, you've been warned. Let's see if there's anything else. Nope, that's all for right now. So yeah, peppermint, versatile, which we love. Let's see what else. Yeah, let's dive in and see what the cards have to say, see what message peppermint has to share with us today, and to think about. Wow, I just knocked over all my tarot cards. Okay, so I'm going to be pulling from the Desert Illuminations tarot deck. This is by Lindsay D. Williams. It's like a Southwest USA inspired deck. All right, so what message does peppermint or mint have for us today? What do we need to know? How do we receive abundance and also create containment, or hold our energetic boundaries so that we don't get drained? Okay, I pulled the Hierophant in reverse here, so let's see what they have to say in here. And this deck does not provide reversal descriptions, so we will be loosely interpreting on our own here. Okay, so upright, the Hierophant is associated with the planet of Venus and the Taurus zodiac. The element it's associated with is earth and the throat chakra. The Hierophant is represented by Sitting Bull, a Lakota leader who led his people in the resistance against the U.S. troops. He also performed in Buffalo Bill's famous Wild West shows. Though he died for his cause, his visions inspired significant victories. This card asks you to listen to your spiritual core or the mentors in your life to help guide you in the direction of your cause. Life is not a journey to be taken all alone. It is important to seek out those who can light the spark of divine inner wisdom inside you to spur you into action. So if we think about the reversal of this, perhaps we're looking for a mentor, or where we have been leading our causes or our own sort of revolution or rebellions on our own, and Mint is telling us here no, to really spread out in the way that Mint does, to put down roots and to kind of keep growing the thing that you want to. You're going to need other people, you're going to need help, you're going to need to help guide you in the direction. It also helps inspire you, to light the spark of divine inner wisdom inside you. It also sometimes just helps you recognize that you're going on the right path. Sometimes that aspect can feel hard, or when we receive a message from the universe, we're like, no way. That can't be what that means. Sometimes if we have those mentors or important people in our lives, visionaries, then they can help us sort of affirm, the things that we're working on growing towards. Because there's, I would say, a lot of people out there that have no interest in growing, that have no interest in changing or learning more about themselves or the world. I think they're capable of it, but I think sometimes the easier thing to do is to just sort of say, no, the world needs to change for me. I don't need to change. The world needs to change. And I think, Mint is here calling us out, saying all right, if you really want to change the world, if you really want to change things, you're going to have to start with yourself. You're going to have to start with the thing you actually have the most control over, is how you show up in relationship, what boundaries you put up, how you contain your energy or your energetic boundaries so that you don't become drained and burned out from the fight that you are really that you value. All right, so Thank you, Mint, for your message today. In closing, if you'd like to join me on the journey of using the tarot for transformation, click on the link in the show notes to indicate your interest in receiving more info. We'll be working together for 12 weeks of calls and journaling to discover what happens when we want to transform our lives through the tarot. Links for the tarot decks I talk about will always be in the show notes and on my website if you'd like to look at them or purchase them. And thanks for joining me today on Everyday Tarot. Just as a reminder, the podcast comes out daily, Monday through Friday for all of 2025. And you can email me, me@CamilleASaunders.com with your thoughts, questions, and more. All right, see you soon. Bye-bye.